So, a very powerful hack that I've used to handle stress in my life for a very long time is fitness or movements, having some sort of daily practice of movement. Now, this could be just introducing a walk after dinner. It's definitely good, once you've had a big dinner at the end of the day, it's definitely good to get like a 20-minute walk outside. Helps with digestion. It helps not to go straight from just dinner to sitting on the couch. And if you're moving the needle, if you want to move the needle from kind of away from, typical masculine coping mechanisms, just a low bar like walking around the block for 20 minutes with the family after dinner is a great one. There's golf, yoga, surfing, maybe it's gym and weights. It could even be, just walking the dog or playing catch with the kids. But if you want to move the needle and kind of move away from these typical masculine coping mechanisms, I've mentioned in other videos, right? Men tend to lean on substance. That's a big one for us. Or it's screens. It's spectator sports. It's shows and movies. It's video games. Our coping mechanisms help us to kind of not feel stress or resist the stress that we're feeling. So if you want to move the needle, if you want to kind of get away from some of these, I think having a daily practice of fitness and movement, one, you're going to be able to start moving endorphins through your system. You can introduce these natural mood enhancers, these natural antidepressants that we have in our system. Couple of things that the old guys say, right? One of them is don't let the old man in, keep the old man out. As we get older, if we tend to stay in our comfort zone, we tend to start to limit the activities that we can engage in. One of my favorites, my dad's been retired for like 13 years now. And for the longest time, he's in his 80s now. And for the longest time, he loves golf. And for the longest time, he just walked 18 holes 2 or 3 times a week. And he would always tell me, he's like, once you get in the golf cart, you don't get out. Once you start to lean on something like that, it's that much harder when you don't want to lean on it. So for 10 years after retirement and before that, his buddies would get golf carts when they played. He would just walk. And then eventually he got a cart to pull or push his bag. But he had always told me, he's like, once you get in that golf cart, you're not going to get out. And these old guys in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they say, don't let the old man in. Once we start responding to that part of ourselves that wants to slow down, that wants to start to limit our comfort zone, it's that much harder when we want to get out. So to keep doing those things that we want to be doing helps us keep doors open. So I think the other benefits, the self-esteem boost. If we're able to develop a daily practice of fitness or movement, whether it's low bar, walking around the block after dinner, or you're picking up heavy weights off the ground, you're going to the gym, you're doing big fitness things, whatever it is, the self-esteem boost. And then kind of on the etheric kind of spiritual plane, like you could definitely move trapped energy. I remember there's a big, old like football player, personal trainer at my gym, and he's the guy you would absolutely not expect to hear this coming out of his mouth. But as he works with clients, he said, there's trapped emotions in our muscles and ligaments. And this is you wouldn't expect this from this dude, but he's like, there's trapped emotions stuck in our muscles and our ligaments. And when we move, when we engage in a daily practice, that energy has an opportunity to move. So whatever your daily practice is, having a daily practice of movement, whether it's gardening, walking the dog around the block, playing catch with the kids, move the needle from where we're at with our coping mechanisms, right? The masculine, we lean heavily on substance, whether it's sugar, calories, alcohol, nicotine, cannabis, prescription drugs, illicit drugs. We lean heavily on substance. We lean heavily on things like screens, whether it's sports, video games, shows and movies. These are our typical masculine coping mechanisms. So figure that's your baseline. That's where you're at. Now, not to say any of those things are inherently wrong, good or bad, but if that's our natural baseline, start to move the needle, right? Start to do some of these low barrier of entry, walking the dog, taking a walk after dinner, playing catch with the kids, all the way up to Olympic lifting and running marathons, whatever it is. Starting to get a daily practice of fitness is a great way to reduce stress, especially if it's going to start introducing endorphins. And if you can, not let the old man in. Like my dad has always said for like the last 20 years, once you get in the golf cart, you don't get out. So having a daily practice of movement, whatever that is a great tool for reducing stress and being able to handle and manage stress.